Hey everyone, welcome in for another edition of Hello World. Today we're going to be covering tripods, tripod tracking, what to dismantle, and auto dismantle. For this guide, I'm going to be doing this on a war dancer, but obviously this works for any class. Let's get to it. Alright, let's talk about tripods. So tripods are something that enhance a skill, and you unlock them at different thresholds of skill level. So the first one you get is at level 4. Next one will be at level 7. Next one would be at level 10. There's nothing past that, but if you go above that, it increases the damage. So if we go up to skill level 12. Now, tripods themselves can be level 1 or up to level 5. And we're going to be going over how to get those tripods, track those tripods, and just how much of an impact they have. So example, on Sky Shattering Blow in my War Dancer here, if we mouse over right here, it's giving me 20% attack power for 3 seconds on hit. If I go up to level 5 of the tripod, it's going up to 32%, which is a pretty big jump. Same down here for my Abundant Resources tripod. This is me getting my specialty meter, which are these little balls down here, going from level 1 at 200% up to 300% at level 5. So it does make a pretty big difference having tripods. Now, to know which tripods to track, we're going to be going into a site known as Lost Ark Nexus. Let me pull that up real quick. So I pulled up this right here, and this is the Lost Ark Nexus. I'll put a link down below in the comments. This has like your general guides for most classes, and I believe if you use like the Power Pass, it's going to auto set some of the stuff for you. But if not, this is a good place to start. So first you go to the site and find your class. Just to demonstrate that, let's go back to the Lost Ark Nexus. Scroll down here, there's my War Dancer I'm on right now. We'll scroll through the guide here. Now, right now I'm an Esoteric War Dancer with the standard 4. Let's expand this out just a little bit more. Alright, there we go. That should be good enough. Alright, so what you want to do is look here and check which skills have which tripods. And then you want to track those. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. But just to look at Sky Shattering Blow, it's number 2, which is the second, 3, which is the third on the row, and then the last one is the second, which is the second on the row. And just so you can kind of see, it also will specify if it's level 5. Let me see if this class has one that's a level 1. It does not, but sometimes it'll specify level 1, meaning the tripod itself does not enhance enough to justify giving it to level 5, because you're limited only so many different tripods, 18 to be active at a time. Alright, so now that we know about Lost Ark Nexus, and we talked about tripods in general, let's go here to click Settings. Now right here, you notice I already have these tagged, and if you click anywhere, it's going to tag or untag, and you can see how many you have tracked up here on the top, and also which skills have which trapped over here on the side. So let's go back to our Sky Shattering Blow for our example. Now, these two need to be tracked, so the third and the second. So number 3, it's already checked, and the second. So the next thing you want to do is go through all your skills on your builds. Now I'd highly recommend tracking the tripods for all the skills your class has for both builds. Reason being is sometimes a balance patch comes and you're gonna want to probably test it out, or maybe not, but it doesn't hurt to do it. It's just silver to transfer tripods unless you're buying them, which I would highly advise against. There are a lot of ways to get tripods for free, and we'll talk about that later in the video. Now, after you go through your class and you mark all your different tripods for your skills, the next thing you want to do is click on Settings down here. And what I like to do is when you're first starting out, they have the notification filter. Now, this is going to make a little icon here, which I'll show in a little bit, pop up on the amulets, and the amulets are how we get tripods. There's also free amulets, or not free, but earned amulets from doing content like Triangle, a con, Clown, and different raids. Also events will be giving them for free. So if I look up here in the event shop that's running right now as of what is this, the 26th of May in 2024, you can scroll down here, and I do believe there is a tripod right here, these hope amulets. So this lets a skill go to level 4, or a wishful amulet lets it go to level 5. Now the difference between 4 and 5 can be pretty drastic on a big damage skill. And sometimes some skills or tripods have priorities. Make sure you do follow those from the class guides, but it's generally any skill that generates meter requires a certain tripod, or like your damage skill requires the big damage ones. So example of something I would use it on a new class is something like Dragon's Fury or Fire Dragon Fist here, because it's going to be the difference of like 8 to 12% more damage from just that tripod. Now, outside of events, I did mention you can go to different vendors up here using currency in the game to try to get some tripods for free. And I will go show you where that's at now. Right now, I am in Kalinar. So let's head up here. And we'll go to the Legion Raid Exchange. And if you scroll through here, you might see Hope Amulets. And then also under the Mark of Plagues, we can also, Phantom Marks have them, Mark of Plagues have them. This is from a Khan, Brel, Clown. And then also under Triangle, there's some level 5 tripods right here. And then, like I said, any event usually will have them. Outside of that, another way... I'll show you how to transfer them soon here, but just to show you all that, yeah. And then the person you transfer the tripods at is this transfer skill tree right here. If I have any here, which I'll show you pretty soon, this is where you would look. Just to cover real quick the Hope Amulets level, this one's taking a skill to level 4. There's also the level 5 ones, which we kind of showed a little bit ago. But you just right click it. You can select any skill. Ideally you want to go to one you're tracking like we mentioned before and get those, but since I have like everything pretty much transferred on this character, I'm just going to pick a random skill and put it on just so you can see how it works. So I selected Fist of Darkness on Triple Fist. I click upgrade and boom, that's it. I would then go into the skill itself if I had it equipped and make sure to click the level 4 on it. So here we have the settings for our tripods down here at the bottom. So right here I can set up different ways to have my tripods flagged or have them show up. So I like to leave it on incomplete transfer effects. That way, whether they're flagged or not, they show up in my inventory to transfer. The reason I do that is because classes get reworked and skills get removed. And if you have a level 5 tripod, it will actually give you free like level 5 tripods or amulets to reuse on the new skill or other skills. And that's pretty invaluable as the class gets rebalanced. Now, while you're starting out, I would suggest putting this at probably level 4, even level 3. And then as you see yourself getting too many tripods, just bump it up to like 4 and then ultimately 5, just depending on where you're at progression-wise in the game. So for me, I have mine set to 5, which is the max level of tripod. So now, here's the fun part. When you're starting out, you just get so much crap from Chaos Dungeons and things you just don't know if you need or not. Now, because I flagged the skills I needed, or tripods I needed skills, these little icons are now appearing on these amulets, letting me know that these are skills that I have flagged. And all these other ones are just junk that you do not need. So now we're going to talk about the auto dismantle settings. So if you click down here on dismantle, and we click here on auto dismantle. Now, if I just hit ancient now, it will actually just take everything from my inventory and dismantle it, which is not what we want. So let's close that out and bring it back up. While you're doing this, I'd highly suggest leaving auto dismantle off so you can tweak your settings before trying anything. Now, we're going to enable it. Make sure all of these things are checked. This is helm, shoulders, chest piece, pants, gloves, amulet, and amulet's the important one. That's these little tripod amulets. Weapon, doesn't really matter. Necklace, earrings, ring, and ability stone I leave unchecked because I don't use the engraving settings, but I will cover how to do that. So if you do have those, check that. Item rank set to the max. Item tier set to tier 3. Now, quality is something you have to have or your auto dismantle settings will not work properly. So what I highly recommend is even going up to like 60. Low quality jewelry doesn't really sell and you don't really want to use it, but while you're starting out, there's some class pieces you may use. So you can start at 20 and then move it up as you're comfortable. The next thing is apply auto dismantle. You want to set to upon drops and clearing content right here. This means This is like if I'm doing a chaos dungeon, a bunch of stuff drops, it will dismantle. This is if I clear content, the gate rewards that go into my inventory will also get handled. So now the main way I sort my stuff is by stat. So this is saying that dismantle items with any of the following combat stat. So this is now saying domination, endurance, expertise will always get dismantled. Now the caveat there is if it's a neck and it has like spec, crit, or swift also on it, it may keep it, but that's just a risk of how I'm doing it. Now down here at the bottom, make sure you have skill tree notification exclude equipment checked. So now I'm going to click go. So this turns on my auto dismantle. And down here at the button, make sure you don't click default like I almost just did for fun there. And then this little button here tests your loot filter settings. So I'm going to click it. So based on that, this is basically all garbage here, and it's cleaned up my inventory pretty considerably. So that means after each chaos dungeon, it's going to make your life that much easier. And you can take these settings to any of your other characters and just have a much, much, much better time. So I'm going to move all this over. So we went from a full page to this stuff here. And it makes it a lot easier just to take a look at the couple pieces. If you want to know my logic here on why I do this, it's because domination, endurance, expertise are not used stats right now for the most part. There may be some niche builds that will use expertise, even endurance, but or domination, I guess, even, but no one does it. Just don't worry about it if you're new or starting out. If you're an experienced player, know better, then you're welcome to do these if you're looking for like princess maker type jewelry and things like that. Now that we cleaned up our inventory, you notice I have these couple little tripods here. I can try transferring. We have some stones. So now I'm just going to manually go through what's left and just kind of dismantle stuff. Now, engraving wise, knowing what's good, what's not good does take a little bit of just practice. And I can kind of give you an idea there of what to look for and how to fix that up. But we're just going to dismantle some stuff here and leave just a couple things for experimentation. So after I have these tripods out, the next thing I want to do is go to this transfer skill. And if you notice, we have this selected, crushing wind kick on the side here. It's not something we're tracking, so I don't really care about it. But like I mentioned, we're going to send it anyways, and we're going to hope we get lucky. So going through each one, we can check this just to make the animation a little faster and not worry about clicking through as much. These are untracked tripods. So this one is one I need, and it's a 10% success chance going to level 5. So now there's these sage powders. You can craft these in your stronghold. You can get them weekly. You can go to the blood crystal shop. There's a lot of ways to get them, but you have these bags, let's say, or you crafted them, or you went and got them from the weekly vendor. So I'm just going to open up a couple here for the fun of it. And so this is something I'm going to transfer. So if I click use here, it increases my chance to 20%. Otherwise, it's at 10%. So we're going to try to transfer it. Didn't hit. You know, don't feel bad. You can be very, very unlucky here, but you know, it's something you got to do. All right. Next up, engravings. So let's talk about engravings. Engraving effect here. If you go down to roster, you can also hit Alt-I. And now there's this little icon I can click here to start tracking these. Now, as far as which ones to track, it's going to be anything that's used in a build or something you may find valuable. There's a lot of things that you will not need, not use. If you uncheck this, view my class, it doesn't really matter on this character because you're not going to find class jewelry for other classes. So make sure you click class bonus here. Check those. And then we're going to go through these. Barricades, sometimes valuable. Keen blunt. Contenders for Chaos Dungeon Jewelry, Broken Bone, not really used. Ambush Master, Awakening Expert, Hitmaster, Raid Captain, sure. All Out Attack, Supercharge is good. Magic Stream is good. Crisis Evasion, good. I'm just kind of going through. Most of this other stuff just is not used. You don't have to worry about it. Master's Tenacity is only used by one class, but we can track that. Propulsion is sometimes, I think it's just Pistolier can use it. Spirit of Absorption is used. Precise Dagger is used. Stabilize Status, I don't think that's used anymore. It's no longer in the Gunlancer build. So let's see. I think that's all we need to select for now. Just double checking my settings here. I'll check Broken Bone for fun. So now you can click notification settings up here, show engraving notification filter, and you can say, hey, if it has one of my engravings is what I highly recommend, because there's going to be situations where you're going to find like a necklace that may have like 6 in adrenaline or grudge or ambush master or cursed all, something decent with good stats and a high quality that you can wear and make work in like some of your builds. Or also if you're running a engraving support character, you may just want to find jewelry regardless of the engraving, and then you would just turn this off. So I'm going to save this for now, and we're going to go over here. And so now you see I have these little icons showing up on engravings. So that's going to further reduce the amount of clutter you're going to get per chaos dungeon and make your life even easier. So now I'm going to click this. We're just going to click the button. It's not going to work, you see, because these are something I've tracked. If you look at this up here, engravings I have tracked and things I can sell. One thing to note is if you are tracking engravings and you want to dismantle your ability stones, you need to check this box and check this box down here for exclude gear with engraving notifications. You can also have it exclude 1 or 2 of the engravings. So if 2 notifications are present on an item, meaning 2 engravings I am tracking, it'll keep the item. 1 would be if only 1 is present. The safe one is 1, and then you can turn it up from there. And as I said before, make sure you test your stuff, fill up your inventory, and then click this button here. So turn off your auto dismantle settings, run a chaos dungeon, come out, turn this on, close this, and then click this button here to test stuff out. Now, just a brief note on another thing you can do with now that we have all these settings set up, and let's say we have jewelry that made it through our filters we set up, you can control right click anything and click search. That's going to show you other pieces like it. Another thing to check for is recent prices, and then you can see if things are actually selling of the piece you're searching. So the piece I just searched is only 75 quality, and it has a 3 malice down there, attack power reduction 3. So I would look over here and see that this piece is pretty much what I have. So I would list it somewhere around this bottom end price to maybe like a little higher, just because it has a different malice overall. Recent prices, let me see if anything's even selling of that category. Now, if you search for something, let's try another piece here. We'll search for this piece here. We're going to control right click it. There's one up for 20K. Recent prices. So this is where it gets scary. If you're going to be looking at the market and seeing nothing listed, it's going to be harder for you to say that's actually what it's worth. Now, undercutting is something you should not do completely, but you want to undercut just the competition. But going down by 1,000 is a lot different than going down by 10,000. So if I list this for 19K, great. And then now I can click here. If I wanted to change anything out or for something different, like let's say once you get the search criterion in from control right clicking your jewelry, you can go in here and adjust things. And anytime I'm searching for something, I would also highly recommend looking down a little bit, and you can see if more pop up. So now that mine's listed there too, let's check recent prices. So now that we lowered the quality requirement, because we started with a control right click, we have it at 70. So now we can see that they're actually selling for, an okay amount. Same principle goes for other materials that you do have that you want to list, or gems in general. If you do want to sell a gem, control right click it, go to search, click the little advanced search in the top right, and I would highly recommend clearing that out, going to class and selecting all, and then we search. So this will then give us our base price. You can also do that from here under the search, under the auction house, and then recent prices, interest list. So if I change this to legendary now and search, we're going to now get the legendary jewelry gems of all classes. And this will give us my base of something if I want to sell it. Let's do one more example of jewelry. I can show bracelets just because they're a little bit trickier. So what I like to do is just search recent prices, none show up. So this isn't really something that's selling right now. But for argument's sake, let's try saying this was actually spec. We're going to go to combat stacks, specialization, and let's say it's 110. Now, let's try Swift then. Yeah, so the issue I'm having right here is anytime you're searching for bracelets, the weirdest part about selling bracelets is that you have this bracelet special effect. I recommend just like zeroing that out, selecting all, and just searching for like the base stat. That way you can kind of get a comparison of where your bracelet's at compared to others. Now in doing this, you're going to see something like this, like expertise also being on the bracelet, which makes it almost not necessarily lower its value, but it does have a stat that's already there. That means they can't get, let's say, crit or specialization or another stat roll on there. So be careful when you're searching and you're listing. Make sure you go to the one that is more like yours to find like a baseline price. All right, that concludes my general guide on how to track your tripods, engravings, dismantling like loot filter settings, as well as auto dismantling. And then at the end there, we kind of did a quick overview of like just like how to search for jewelry and list it out so you do have it in your inventory. Hopefully this guide helps. If you have any feedback, want to see something else covered, feel free to drop a comment or pop into my Twitch at Twitch TV/John Pell. All right, guys, take care.